We are going to start our new series, and that series is related to IGCSE past papers. And before jumping on to solving the papers, few things we need to understand. Number one is that our papers contain 2 hours. So make sure and try to attempt in 1 hour 45 minutes and give 15 minutes extra to yourself. So at least you can revise the paper and you can see that if we are finding any kind of mistakes, so you can make a correction. Number second, most important thing is that our paper contains 2 parts. In part 1, we have section A. They will give us a paragraph. By reading that particular paragraph, they will ask us to have some questions, and we have to solve those questions, and we have to answer. So one thing you understand that you will have to read that particular paragraph very carefully, and then you would be able to answer. While in this next part, we have 2 more sections, section B and section C. If you see here, section B and section C, but we have the choice. Either you can go for section B and either you can go for section C. So at least you have an option. If you think that you are good in chapter 2, you can go for chapter number 2, and if you think that you are good enough in chapter number 3, you probably go for chapter number 3. And the last thing that we have is our total marks. We have in paper number 1 80. So first 3 chapters will be involved in paper number 1, and the rest will be the part of our paper number 2. So this is some basic information you need to understand. Now moving on to paper number 1 that we have taken from May-June 2021. So no need to worry about the paper pattern. Still we have the same paper pattern in 2025. So this is our section A, and this section is coming from our chapter number 1, theory and the methods. So source A, you have to read this paragraph very carefully. So one better way is to highlight the most important information while reading. For example, in 1990s, sociology research suggested that the internet has negative effect. For example, the negative effect. What happened in 2003? That we was challenged, fine. The sample of this study was composed of 40 students, fine. And among these 40 students, 12 were males and 28 were females. And this study is conducted in Carolina, USA. So all the participants volunteered for the studies, and fine. And then we have experiment then conducted over 8 weeks. You can highlight this one. And you have 5 internet chat sessions. So with another participant, never actually meet in the real life, fine. One we have never met the respondent, and at this stage participant researcher who gave them questionnaire to fill in. The questionnaire asked about the year feeling, depressions. Okay, what the questions they have asked about their feelings: depression, loneliness, self-esteem, and the social support. The same questionnaires was used each time participant met again with a researcher. So answer over the time were noted. So this is something that studies have been conducted in Carolina, USA, and that study we have 40 students and 12 males and 28 females. So and one more thing, the important thing that they suggest, the internet has a negative effect on individuals, so up to so on. So let's come on to the questions that what sort of questions we have. They said in part A, from the evidence in source A, identify 2 research methods that were used in the study. Okay, before attempting a question, you need to understand few things, that what is the pattern of this question. So for 2 marks question, we have the pattern is 1 mark to identify the research method. Okay, as they are saying that you have to identify the 2 research methods, so each identification having 1 mark, and this is how we would be able to get 2 marks. Section A, and in section A we are attempting part A. Now we have to give the evidence and from source A that what sort of research method they have used. Now if you see, the first method they have used is this one. Clearly you can see the experiment, and the second one, they used questionnaires to collect the data. So this is something that you can highlight clearly. So you might write it as the experiment. So this identification will give you 1 marks, and the number second, they used questionnaires. Again 1 mark. So this is how you can get 2 marks in section A. Now move on to section B. And section B, we have identified 2 examples of secondary data that could be used to research the way young people use the internet. So now we have to give 2 examples of secondary data. The number one that we can give is statistics, and number second, media material. So this is how we can get from the internet, and this will help us to move further with our research, specifically based on the secondary data.